So this is going to be a review on A Prayer Before Dawn. So this film was released last year, 2018, around July time in the UK. It wasn't a film that was heavily promoted, and it was only by chance that I actually caught the trailer on one of the featured side lists on YouTube. So when I watched the trailer, that's what really got me wanting to see this film, and I did a review of the trailer and what I thought of the film. So the film was directed by Jean-Stéphane Sauvé, and our lead star is Joe Cole, and you've probably seen him in Peaky Blinders. British actor. So Charlie Hunnam was actually in the running for this role. I think it was due to scheduling conflicts. He wasn't actually able to take the lead role, and that's where Joe Cole has come in and taken over that role. So what's A Prayer Before Dawn about? So if you've watched the trailer, you'd probably think it's a typical vehicle for a Van Damme film. So you've got Joe Cole, who is playing Billy Moore, and this is based off a true story. So I believe that Billy Moore had written a book about the events of this film. So the film starts off following Billy Moore. He's a boxer, and when he fights, he's taking loads of drugs and he's just totally cracked out when he's fighting. He's an absolute mess of a guy. And then a raid happens to his property, and he then gets arrested and sent to a Thailand prison. So what I really like about this film, it really emphasises on the claustrophobia. It's very dark and dirty, and from reading the behind the scenes of the film, all of the inmates that are in the film are actual real ex-inmates, and I think you can really see that within the film. I think some of that realism in the film really makes it feel like a scary place to be, and it does make you think that if I was there, I would not like this place at all. We have Billy Moore turning up to this Thailand prison. He's like the only white guy in the prison, and while he's there, he's like a raging tiger. He's flipping out at anyone wants to fight this person, that person, and really trying to show that he's like a hard man. What I like is there's a scene in the film that doesn't contain violence towards him, but it's a scene where it knocks him down a peg from an emotional point of view. So this in particular scene was very disturbing for me to watch, and I understand why it's in the film, because it gives that impact that it needs to deliver, and it also is probably showing a true reflection of what does happen in them prisons, and it has the impact and it delivered in a really good way. And this is where you see Billy Morse kind of changing his attitude in the prison. What you have as well is there was some really good things that the director was doing to actually make you feel like he was there. So you have a lot of the inmates that are talking amongst themselves or trying to communicate to Billy Moore, and you don't see any subtitles for this, and the director intentionally did that to make you feel like you don't know what's going on, or to make you feel like you're there. So you're basically trying to interpret what they're saying by body language and stuff like that. So I thought that was a really good technique to take on for the film, and I feel it worked. So what you've got in this film, you do have a lot of cliches. So you've got Billy Moore, who's like the sort of underdog. He's like a Rocky Balboa, you know he's gonna work his way up. You've got them typical training scenes, but what's different about this one is if it's a weird combination of genres. It feels like a realism of a British film. You've got a bit of martial arts, you've got the foreign side of filming. So yeah, it's a real good, refreshing take on a cliche story. We then go into Billy Moore trying to build himself up into the prison, and he keeps seeing these Muay Thai fights, and he's wanting to train. He's telling people, I'm a boxer, and they're just laughing at him, and he's like, come on, I want to train. And eventually he does get to train. The boxing trainer in the film, not a lot of people would probably know this, but is Somluk Kamsing, and I only know him from Jean-Claude Van Damme was going to have a real fight in Las Vegas against Somluk, which did not happen. But yeah, this is the reason why I know who Somluk is, and he's the boxing trainer in this film. We then have the boss of the prison giving Billy Moore a chance, saying, right, okay, so we'll let you train, but you need to represent us if you're going to fight. And with him doing that, he starts to get a few extra privileges. He gets himself into a bit of a mess when he has one of his fights, so he gets a bit of a rupture, and with the excessive drug taking, the doctors are advising him to not fight, otherwise he's going to kill himself. And you can guess it, he goes and fights. So that leads on to the actual fight. So on the first fight, when I watched it, I wasn't too impressed. I was like, the editing's very messy, I can't see what's going on. And I thought, oh, it's a bit of a letdown straight away at the start of the film. But as I got to watch the film, and the fights towards the end are totally different to the beginning, and I then realised what the director was doing. So the fights are choppy and messy, trying to express the way that Billy Moore is as a character. So he's in a drug-fueled fight, where he's just all over the place. So it wasn't anything to do with the editing, because in the fights later on in the film, they are really, really good, and you can see some nice real connections, and you can really feel that they put some really good effort into this to make it feel like it's actually happening, and it's very intense as well. I watched an interview with Joe Cole, and one of the interviewers asked him regarding some of the realism. So I think the interviewer could see in the film that some of the connections look very real, and Joe Cole basically said that with the inmates in the film, he allowed them to surprise him with a little slap or a little hit around or anything, but not to take the piss and really hit him. So yeah, there's some really good moments where they give him a little slap, and yeah, it's really effective seeing that, and it's good to see an actor really delving into a character like this Billy Moore character. And I think for Joe Cole, this is probably, as an actor, one of them films where it's like, this is a fantastic opportunity. The film isn't going to blow you away, but when you watch it, I think you'll really appreciate the effort that they've gone into this film to try and take it away from a typical martial arts film or a typical action film. This is a straight out drama film with elements of martial arts. So take that as you will, but I definitely recommend going and seeing this film, and I think it deserves to be watched, because for me, I think it's a small indie film and it deserves a lot more love. So if you've watched this film, drop a comment down below. What did you think of this film? Do you agree with my comments? Make sure you check out our playlist for our movie reviews for this year. We've also got one for 2018. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed this review. and we'll see you on the next video.